Welcome back to our continuation of our sessions. As SDET, we were looking at API programming earlier, specifically with how we do our application programming interface, how do we send RESTful requests, get responses, how we do it with programming as well. So today, team, we're going to focus primarily on Git and GitHub. What do they mean? How do we work with them? Is my audio very low, or is it all right, team? Can you quickly mention, please? And switch to this. So, team, our main objective is what is it that we're trying to achieve? I'm gonna be doing few notes. Please write at your end. I want to show more practically what happens and how they vary for us. All right. So, team, the whole purpose when it comes to GitHub and so on is number one, to do version control and to do collaboration with other members and overall be able to do software configuration, or what was the configuration management. So when we're speaking about version control, team, the primary thing is very simple. Let us say you have a file, and that file you created it on a specific date and you call it F1, and you created this on 1st Jan 2020. Now, as you go on to the remaining dates of it, you will create different versions of it and keep on expanding that till you reach a version which is final for you. Now, one of the biggest thing that Git gives you is it gives you a historical view of how your documents change over a period of time. And that's one point of view. The other point of view comes in when you have more than one human trying to work on the same kind of a software. So who gets to work on it? How do they both collaborate to make changes together onto the same documents or onto the same directory? So that is where we're talking a lot about collaboration. Primarily in this whole concept, Git is our main software or engine that helps in overall version controlling and configurations. GitHub is a third-party team. As a software as a service provider who in turn uses Git and delivers the same results, just a little bit more user friendly. So think of it this way. We're talking about, yes, I want to maintain different versions, a line or a track of history of what we did when we did. I also want other team members to help me collaborate into this. So while we're doing this, the aspect of it is that Git is a main software. It is like that core engine that lets you perform these tasks. GitHub or Bitbucket and so on, or other party providers, third party, they're totally private, who give you such features in a much more easier fashion to use. So our approach is going to be very simple, team. We will use GitHub, we will play around, and then come to the command line interface for Git and how it works. So we're basically saying learn the easier way first and come to the detailed nuts and bolts. Now, to do this, I would need some amount of involvement from the team. Are you ready to participate with me live, team, so we can make these changes and kind of keep working on this together? May not be so much in the first half of today's session or tomorrow. We will take a couple of sessions to do this. But I want you to involve with me. So I don't want to do it alone and then you practice later. You practice parallelly. Okay. Now, one of the fundamental things, team, let me put this. This I don't think I need to say. Let me say it just in case. API, we're saying here, trainings, folder. GitHub. I'll take it a little slow. Actually, I wanted to ask this question to everyone. How many of you are aware of GitHub as a concept, and how many of you have absolutely no idea? Just an answer, no idea. Idea is good. Very little, no idea, no idea. Okay. It'll be very interesting. You like it. So, what am I saying? Now, think of this, team. I'll talk to you as pictures, and then we will talk about everything else later. The first and foremost thing that comes into our head is something called as a repository. Think of repository as a directory or a folder. And then we have a local repository in our system. And then we have something called as a remote repository, which is on the cloud. To be very simple, let us say I create some Excel sheets, like there is an Excel file here, some pivot tables that we created. Now, this Excel file is there in my local machine. But if I put it in my Google Drive as a Google Sheet, will you all be able to access it, team? Correct? So basically, I can leave this file in my local repository or move it to a more central remote cloud where we all can access it. Git is a lot about maintaining it from your local machine and integrating it to the cloud and so on. GitHub is helping you to do this on the remote cloud. So the first steps for us is, in fact, you have to install Git. Maybe I think install Git. There is just Google and we'll find a way. Install Git SCM. Git-SCM. Software configuration management tool. And getting started, see, you can do it with a command prompt, or you can also download this, installing on Windows. Do everyone say this? Get the latest version, team, and click on it, and it basically does a very small installation on your local machine. It's not a complicated installation at all. let it download, double click and let it install overall. So when you install Git, you are ready to use it locally. Right now, let us move to GitHub. I'm not talking anything about GitHub. I'm just saying you can install it and put it. So when I talk about GitHub, what happens, team? Let me go to github.com in a private browser. GitHub is a third party provider. They will charge you. They will ask you to pay. They will ask you for a license fee. But at the same time, there are a lot of free accounts to begin with where you don't need to really get started in a commercial. I want you all to do a simple sign up team. That sign up basically requires a username, email, and password. And you are signing up for GitHub. Then you can start contributing to it. Sign up for free account. And then we are going to log in. How many of you are going to sign up, team? Do you want a couple of minutes break before you sign up? Everyone, can you do it parallelly while I'm doing this? Did I start the recording? Okay. So when you're signing up, team, you will get an email, then you confirm that your account is created, and primarily then you're signing in. And I have few accounts on GitHub with various mail IDs. I'm going to show some of my simpler ones to begin with. And here is my GitHub account. All that you will see when you sign in are repositories, are Git directories / folders. That is where we handle and control everything. So I have a bunch of repositories, team, and there's a lot that we can do here. In fact, today I was just playing around a few hours back to see is this account good enough for us. Now, the first thing that we will do is create a new repo. Repo is a short word for repository. We'll slowly start getting used to these jargons. So I'm going to click on new. And if you notice, team, it is giving me a URL kind of a, or a folder kind of a structure. And let's say this is SDET-2. And it tells me if it is already available or not. There was the other one. SDET1 or something was there. It was not. Experiment with the team. Now, so create a new repository, give it a name. You don't want to give any spaces or anything out here, just like a variable or a URL. You're going to give the details. I'll tell you what happens to it. You can give a description. Next comes the public or private. Public, accessible by all, and you can have others contribute or help in your project. That is public, like a public Google Drive. Anyone with that link can go and get access to the document. Then we have a private. Now, what are public and private? What are we talking about here, team? So that you're all very, very sharp onto it. What public, what private? Which ones are they? What do I mean by public and private, everyone? What are we referring to? Keep those keywords. Repos, that is correct. Repositories are public or private. So this is a public repository or a folder, just like your Google Drive, and a private repository. That's the first thing. Let's keep it as public, and I will initialize with a README or not. You control who can access. So in a private repository. Now comes the other portion of README. First time visitors to your repository get to know the important, I need to minimize this. Or key idea behind the repository, right? So what is this repository about? We can say that, hey, I'm using this to store climate data of the weather satellites that we're providing, or I'm using this repository to code, to put a Selenium framework, or to host something like Eniot, or to host a web application, or even just text files, any of it. That's my README file. So far so good. We went and we created a new repository and I made it public. And let's say README, you can forget about the license and all this part for now, team. Primarily, licensing is all about if you believe that what you're developing requires it to be associated with some kind of a license for the end user, you can provide the details. So when the end user wants to use your software, they would know what are the criteria against which we do it. Now I'm going to create a repository. Here comes the neat feature of it. Now, do you see this? This becomes my folder. My public repo is here. And now I am logged in. So of course I can see it. And of course I went to an incognito window, logged in again, and I see this. Let me open another incognito window and just paste this into it. If I don't see my profile picture, let me log out from it. Okay, so it's just the home page, and I will put that in again. So primarily, it is giving us a welcome message about GitHub. I'm gonna try and dismiss this. And here is what you look at. You're gonna spend a lot of time on the screen, everyone. This is kind of the home page of our GitHub. Okay, there are a lot that GitHub does. And just letting you know, again, we're going to learn Git and Git commands after we talk a little bit more about GitHub. But at this point, you please note that there are only a few things that we will work on the screen. The first is the code. We'll look at pull requests, a little on insights. See this actions, projects, security issues, all of this can be ignored for now. There are additional features and not every feature of a tool do we really intend to use. But the most salient or key features we should be totally aware. Make sense, everyone? The other ones are how do we fork? What is a fork? Clone, download, finding files. What are the branches? Our main one, and list of the files that will come here. Okay. Now, are you all able to go to that same folder and see what I see? At this point, if you have not registered to GitHub with your account, that is okay, team. Can I make any one of you the presenter and have you show me what you see on your screen? I just see put that in chat, the link to this. Who would like to, can you raise your hand? I'll make you a presenter. Would like to see your screen and see how does it look, this URL, this GitHub public repository. Guys, I need hands up, hands raised in GoToMeeting or GoToWebinar. What happened, team? As of now, I'm not looking at your overall account, but just this. Sandhya, I'm making you presenter. Just see if you can share the link that we sent out. Hello.
Yeah.
All right, great. So do you see that there's a README? You see Kartik Kosireddy's folder, the whole URL. This is the structure. So great. This is exactly what we're supposed to see. And thank you so much. Any question on this you had when you were seeing this or creating account?
No.
Yes, please. Are you saying something?
No, I'm fine. Thank you.
All right. You're welcome. All right, Sandhya, great. Thank you. So that's what we could see. Now what we're going to do is I am going to play around with this repository. See, if I'm not signed in, there is nothing much that I can do on it. Say I need to sign in and have an access to that repository. Now here, and team, don't play around too much with it. Let's see if it's still signed in. No. Sign in. I think this is the one. There you go. Now, we were talking about this is similar to like a folder like Google Drive. You can place files here, not just code or programs. Do you understand, everyone? You can use GitHub to save simple content. It does not necessarily have to do anything with programmers only. Now, I'm going to use the option of creating a new file. What we typically do, so I have a file. This is my remote. This is my local. Okay. Now, in my remote repository, this is on github.com. Once I create a file there, I can edit it, delete it, download it, and do a lot of other things that we typically do with files team. Or you can also create a new file if it was not. So that's exactly what we're going to be trying to do right now. We're going to create a new file out here. You can create basic regular files, and this can be text files. We are not interested in a Java file or something. So I'll just say text1 and say, hello, this is line 1 of my first file. Created the file, and if you scroll down, you will see a concept called commit. Commit is like save with noting down the history and the changes that we made. I just don't want to do a blind commit. And in this, there is something called as a master branch, and we will stick to it. for a little longer. Where are we? Okay. So I made this file called text1, or we can call it as file1 if we want. And do I have to say .text? And here is a detail about what I am doing. The main point is very simple. Here is the first creation where we created the file. Then as we went along, I made some modifications to it. And then as I went along, one second. I made some more modifications to it. And then there's another person who comes in and says, you know what, I want to change it as well. And then comes a new version to it and so on. That becomes the lifeline of that specific file. When was it created? What happened? Who made what changes? When was it done? All this information is stored in the history of all the history of changes. I'm repeating the same history of changes. Well, so you can go back and switch to an older version if need be. You have not lost all that old work. That is the point. So each commit is creating that specific timeline in that where you have created that version where it captures all the details. So each commit is like you go to the bank one time, you make a transaction, you come back. Till you make a transaction, nothing is done. It is still in the air. So to committing to this, I'll say my first commit, and I'll say added a new file. We're going to leave it with the master branch team. We will talk a lot about branching. And what it will do is when I say commit new file, you would notice this file getting saved. Now let me open, I think I should do Firefox maybe, and paste this in there. It's been long since I used it. Let's use private window. What do I see? I see no file. Now, what's this? Back to our Google Chrome and commit new file. So it basically will create this file team. So there was already a README. You can go and change this and say what should be there, how you want it to look, and so on. What should each user do? I will explain how to use my amazing new GitHub repository a little later. So any new users want to come and see, they'll look at this. And this is also another commit. Now I'll say, okay, second commit, just change the README file and I'll leave it to master only. Come on. I have not yet clicked on commit in our Firefox browser. When I go to my repository, and all of you right now should be able to see that file one. And if I click on it, I should also be able to see the content. Why can I see it? Anyone can see it because it's a public repository. Now, when I make the second commit changes, and then you go back to your main repository. So this is my account, github.com Karthik -g SDET-2. That is the one. So see, it is going out here as to what we are doing, what changes are happening. And it says that we've already performed 3 commits. Initial commit when we created it. First commit, I added a file. Second commit, I changed something. Now, when we go back to Firefox and refresh it, you will notice that everything accordingly would have changed in here. Okay, file1.txt and so on. Now look at this team. I'll open my file1 and I'll click on edit. All these files, where are they, team? Can you please tell me? There are 2 choices. Are these files on my local machine, or are they on the remote directory? Can you answer, please? They're all remote, nothing local at all. Why? I don't see this file1 or something in my local machine. It is there on github.com, Karthik, so and so. This is the link to the empty. Okay, actually, this is the link to it. I've made a change. Now I will say, I don't even know which commit is. I'll say another commit. Changed my file1 and commit changes. How many users are working on this repository, this project or directory so far? How many are there, team, that were working on this? How many users are working on it? Only one user, that is me. When we have more contributors to it, you'll understand what will happen. Then we'll talk about it. Now the same thing should reflect here. So if I refresh, you'll see that, okay, there's another comment. Now if I open file1.txt as a visitor and close this dismiss pop-up, click on dismiss, I see adding another line. So what typically happens, team, is you are creating a timeline where at each juncture you're saying this first commit, second, third, fourth, and so on. And you can primarily go and see those changes. So there you go. Actually, not this way, but basically I clicked on the commit thing. When you click on that message itself, it will tell you what is it that someone did. Do you see this green color with a plus on it, everyone? That basically says a user added something to something existing. And it is green because it does not seem to be interfering with the regular flow. That change can be accepted. It is not going to disturb anything. And that's primarily a record of change that we're doing. Now, all of this go in the timeline, and you will find them in the insights every. So we're looking at code where I have these files, and let us create one more new file. File 2. All right. And again, I have to commit. I've put some message to it all the time and say, what is it that I'm doing? Added a new file. file 2, that commit directly to the branch master. We are not talking about a new branch yet. We will come to it. Let's understand master. See, so many commits. Now, do you see this? 5 commits were made so far. Each commit did something different. This is my history of commits every month. And at any point in time, if you click on this icon here, or that, that unique identification, that is the unique ID for that specific commit that we made, you will see what was changed. And let us say out here, you will see what was changed. So you're able to go through all the changes that are there. Now comes the insights. So when I click on insights, we saw code. We are seeing now insights. Under insights, there is a tab called, or a feature called network. Do you notice this here? I noticed there are so many other features. You do not have to really be afraid or focus too much on it. Just click on this network. And do you see these dots? Each one is a commit that we did. And you can primarily go and see those changes from here. It's a nice representation of it. Clear, everyone, what we're trying to do out here? So your master is going through these changes. At this point, I would like to talk about branches, but let me take a quick check. Who is where? Did you guys get a chance to do something about it? Is there anything that I can look at on your machine to see if it's all working fine? Let me know, please. Any question, please raise your hand, team. I would want to see if you could create your accounts and be able to do a little bit out there. I don't see anything. Maybe you're all focused on the session itself. So let's continue with the team. See, a lot of times you want to experiment on your output. Instead of disturbing the main master, let us make experiments on a side, like a branch. If we like it, we will accept the changes, else we will reject them. So what happens, team? It's very simple. Like, we started with a master, correct? And I'll say M1. We went to M2. Just versions of the master, M3, and so on. Now, I notice that I have a total different idea, or I want to do some experiment. So I'll take one version and create this as a branch. And on branch, I'll create a bunch of things that I'll do. And then I will say, hey, you know what? Can I put this into the master now? So your master is not touched. You can continue to play with your master. You can continue to play with the branch at the same time. Okay. Let me explain more of the simpler scenarios to begin with. You can do the complex things later. So let's go back to our repository on GitHub called SDET-2, and I have two files. Now I'm going to create a new file, and I'll say file 3, an experimental file, not sure how it goes. And here I'll say A plus B equals D. Some content, anything, could be from a science perspective, could be from education, could be research, medical, aeronautical, could be pure IT related. GitHub allows you to maintain a file stream. Now I want to commit on this file. I'll say new F3. I'll not write any additional description. But instead of committing directly to the master branch, I'll say create a new branch. You can give it a name if you want. It says patch 1, blah, blah, blah. So I'll just say B1 for now, or even better, branch 1, and say propose new file. So you're not really adding it, accepting it, or changing it. You're just proposing it so far. And this is done as a proposal. Now what happens is, if you go in and look at it from a Firefox, go to that directory, you don't see that file 3. Was it file 3 that we created here using this? Say file 1, file 2. There is no file 3. We created a file 3, correct everyone? And I don't see that yet, because it is there in the different branch team. And the same thing I will see in a private Firefox window, that there's only file 1 file. Now, do note my branch has the file 3. Now here in my master, so don't get confused. From master we came to branch 1. I'm continuing with changing the master, not got anything to do with branch. I'll create another file. I'll say file 6. We have loads of files, and I'll commit this directly to file 6 and committed it to the master. Now what has happened? Everyone, once again, we started here, we went here, we went here. All the single way direction is okay. From here, I created a branch 1, and I'm making some changes, and this is going on in its way. Now at any point I can get this branch and merge it into my master if it is not affecting any of the other things. How do I see that? See, file 1, file 2, file 6 are there in the master. Private Firefox window, I'll see file 1, file 2, file 6. Now if you go to the 2 branches here, you will see there's a master branch and there is a branch 1. That is the only one that we created, which is a. Once you create a branch team, create a pull request. This is a very interesting thing. Okay. Think of it like this. How do I show you? There is an admin and there's a contributor. So admin decides. Okay. Contributor what does the contributor do? Just provides suggestions. So admin will say, I will pull your code, here it will say, the contributor will say, can you please pull my code? That is the main difference between what admin does and a contributor for a branch. So admin is there for your master, contributor is there for your branch. So then you can have so many people working on the same project, all can do different things, and we can pull all of them together. Admin can merge all contributor works. So whatever the contributors do, the admin can pull them together. So for this branch, if I say new pull request, what am I saying? I am a contributor. In this case, I'm both. I'm acting as a contributor and as an admin. I want the admin to please accept my change. For that, I raise a pull request. So I'll say, please pull my code. And I'll say, this is new F3. Can you please accept this pull request? And it says from branch 1 to the master. Do you see, everyone? Now, before I finish this create pull request, let's right click on Insights and open it in a new tab team. I want to see that network. How is it looking? Now, do you see, team? Main master branch is going its own direction. From here, I took a deviation. I took the copy of the master and created a branch 1. In master, some other changes happen. Now I'm saying, let's take this branch 1 and put it to master. And what you will learn is that you can create so many branches from one branch to the other, from here, so many things. And finally, you want to get it into the master. So this network gives you a nice view representation. So back here now, can you please accept this pull request? And we create a pull request. So a contributor of a branch creates a pull request, waits for pull to be accepted. So on Firefox, I don't see file 3. But did you notice that there is suddenly a pull request here? At least it is visible. And you'll see that someone by Karthik Kosireddy C is saying new F3, can you please accept this pull request? I created a new file and that file has all this content that I added. See how neatly you're able to slowly dig into. The only thing that may hurt your learning in GitHub or Git is that there's so many features, you may feel overwhelmed and feel that, oh, this is too much for us. And not really too much. There are very few things, important key aspects that you need to focus on. So let's go back to that admin when we signed in. I'm signed in here and I'll see my pull request. There. I see there's a pull request and it says from branch 1 to master. And can you please accept this pull request? Blah, blah, blah. And I can see what this file is. I like it. Then I can do something called as merge pull request. Merge pull request helps to join branch to the master. If there are no conflicts, let us say 2 people made the same change to the same file where someone has to decide that, oh, which change to accept, which change to deny, then the admin has to be smart to say which one. Right now, there are no conflicts. You don't need a lot of these things, team, GitHub Actions, desk top, and so on. Command line instructions, we will come more of Git ones. I'm going to say merge and confirm this merge. Now let us go into a private window on Firefox and see our remote repository. And I see file 3. Now you'll notice that there are two branches. Master is going and branch is there. If I go into insights of this public repository and look at network, I would see, oh, now you see this is getting merged into master. And the beauty of this representation team is it is very graphical. It lets you click on any of this and take you back to that instance of your project and show you how did those files or changes look at that. So that gives you a lot of control. So if things go wrong, things go bad, you can come back to change them. So that's how we can accept the pull request, merge that pull request back into the master. Now that basically is the beginning or prime concepts of GitHub team. We'll try and run the similar ones from git command and do a little bit more playing around the same thing. We will do something called as forking, and for fork, I want you to participate. Will all of you be able to, if I submit or publish this video, and I did not publish yesterday's video, team, because it has to go into the members area. One is unavailable, I'll need to figure out. Will you be able to install GitHub and start working collaboratively in tomorrow's session, where you can help me to create branches, we'll fork it, we'll play together. And I also want to see how it works at your end. Team, I do not have anything more from the main concepts for today. The main reason being, this is very critical in terms of the core concepts. So what is GitHub doing? It is helping you to nicely organize, save, version control, all your code or files in a remote repository. Git will help you to do it locally. GitHub is a private party. Git is the software. GitHub uses Git. Right, perfect. That's about from my side, everyone. I'll see you back tomorrow. I just wanted you not to get lost with too many concepts. These 2 pages, this 1 video, just practice a little at your end. It should get you smoother. Any questions? Was the session clear for all of you? Did you get a good idea? Great. All right. Thank you, everyone. I'll see you all back tomorrow then. Take care. Thank you. Sure, I'll upload this video. Thanks, Paul. Just check it on YouTube channel. Bye, everyone.